Aiman, and welcome back to one of my auto repair videos. In this video, I'm going to show you how to remove and replace the brake rotors or discs on the front for the Honda CRV 2014, which also applies to 2011, 2016, or 4th generation models. Usually when you replace the brake rotor, you also want to replace the brake pads. And sorry for the wind. This video is designed for people who have already removed the brake pads and have searched up this video because they want to figure out how to remove specifically the rotor. But if you stumbled into this video without taking off the brake pads or not knowing how to take off the brake pads, then I also have a separate video on how to take off the brake pads. The reason that we have this video is specifically for people who want to take out the rotor. So make sure you go check out that first part if you don't know how to take out brake pads. But anyway, let's get to taking out and installing the brake rotors. Alright, so it might be a good idea to move the wheel to the left so that you can get a better aim of the bolts behind the brake. And I do apologize, it is raining and snowing. I was talking earlier about the violent weather in the northeast. It was actually sunny like 5 minutes ago. But anyway, you want to remove these two bolts right here because these two bolts connect the caliper bracket right here, this thing, to the entire brake. And after we take out the caliper bracket, we can get access to the rotor. These are about 100 foot-pounds of torque, so you gotta have a lot of elbow grease if you want to take this out. And if you can't take it out, last resort would have to be a power tool, but I definitely do not recommend you use power tools to loosen bolts on the first try because you might break them. Let me just loosen this a bit more so that I can go out later. Oh, okay. I should be able to loosen this by hand. Nope, but I will get to that later. I already have a ratchet wrench on hand, so it's probably better to do it that way. It's better to use a ratchet wrench for this because you do not want to have to do this with a breaker bar. What? Okay, so I can do this with my hand. I can also do this with my hand apparently. That is very interesting. Unless... Nope, I put this on the wrong ratchet. Nope. There we go. I should also be able to do it with my hand. What? Okay, that was weird. I don't know why that didn't work the first time. Anyway, once you have it loosened, you want to take them out. And as you can see, the bracket is already very loose. After you take out these bolts, you want to slide the caliper out. Come on. We'll speed this up. And as you can see, this is what the caliper bracket looks like in the snow. And this is what the bolts look like. It looks like they're interchangeable, so don't worry about getting them mixed up. So now what we want to do is we want to take a look at the rotor. At the front here, you want to look for the screw. And there is a screw right here. We want to unscrew that screw so that we can take out the rotor. Now you can use a regular screwdriver for this, but if a regular screwdriver doesn't work... Oh wow, wait, hold on. Let me put this brake inside of here so that it doesn't get wet. Okay. You can also use this tool right here. I've actually done a video on how to use this tool. And the way it works is that you hit it with a hammer and it slightly turns the screw right here, but with a bit more force that you can use to take out hard to unscrew screws like this one. But first I'm going to try to do it with my hand. And if you can sense that it's not going to be able to do it with your hand, do not go further because you will strip the bolt. And that is pain. I've experienced stripping the bolt on a rotor before, and it sucks to have to do it. So we're going to use this tool. Okay. Wait, now I gotta loosen it. And as you can see, that rotor bolt, or no, not bolt, screw, is not loose. So we want to take out the screw. Where'd it go? Oh. That is what the rotor screw looks like. I do believe that there is a replacement. We'll take a look later, but just in case, I'm going to put this off to the side. Now, we want to take out the rotor. And in order to do that, we're going to give this a tap on all sides. That's a bit too gentle. So I went inside to change because it was getting cold. As you can see, it's sunny now, which is really unfair. But anyway, if in our case you don't need the rotor, and you can just like do whatever you want with it, you can continue to bang away at the rotor. You know, use brake lubricant on all the holes to try to get it out. But if you want to, let's say, resurface the rotor, if it's still thick and you want to get it resurfaced at Pep Boys for like, you know, $10. It's not a good idea to keep banging it, and that's why you want to try less invasive methods. And in our case, you have something like this, where you take bolts with screws at the end, and as you keep tightening them, it basically forces the rotor to come out. That's a way of doing it, and we actually have a video on those types of tools. We actually use this for pulling out a steering wheel, so if you want to go check out that video, go check it out. I think we also used it. We also did a specific video on taking out rotors, so go check that out also if you're interested. But anyway, we're going to use this to take out the rotor. I mean, it's already loosened, so I should actually take these out. Okay. Now we're going to give it a little tap, just a bit more. And as you can see, we now have the rotor taken out. And as you can see, there's a lot of bumps or bangings or dings from us banging the rotor. So if you want to get it resurfaced, do not hit it with a hammer. All right. Anyway, now we can replace this rotor. All right, so let's compare the old part, this one right here, to the new part. I am sorry, I do not know how much the new part was. Actually, Uncle Lon bought it. We'll probably ask him how much it was after. But as you can see, they are basically the same part. It's actually would have been smarter to take out the brake first, the brake rotor first, and then compare it with the one that you're gonna buy. But you know, Uncle Lon said that this is the exact same part, so we're gonna go with it. Obviously, if you want to be sure, so just make sure that you compare the two when you buy them. But I'm gonna have faith in Uncle Lon. Also, Uncle Lon bought this from Advanced Auto Parts. You can get a 20 to 30% discount if you order online and then come in store to pick it up. If you go in store to buy it, you will have to pay full price, you know, unless there's like other things, like if you're military. We got the brake pads from AutoZone, but we'll talk about that more in the brake pad video. Anyway, installation is removal, but in reverse. Some people do like to well, obviously you need to put brake cleaner on it first, but I know some people like to use like wire brushes and toothbrushes to clean out the inside, but this isn't our car, so it's up to Uncle Lon. But for us, we're not going to wire brush it, we're just going to put some brake cleaner, and then we're going to put the rotor on. Okay, so now we're going to put some brake cleaner on this. This stuff is extremely flammable, so I actually find it very funny because you're putting something very flammable in the brake place where, you know, brakes create sparks. So I just thought it's funny that brake cleaner is extremely flammable. After you spray it, just let it do its work. Then after a while, we're going to put the brake rotor on. But I think we can do it now. Okay. Let's see. We have to make sure that the holes line up first. Wait. There are 2 screws here, but we do have to make sure that it lines up with the 5 holes. Okay, so the original screw hole was here, which means that the screw hole has to be clockwise from the bolt. So this screw hole right here is counterclockwise from the bolt, which means that we have to use this one. And what I mean by this is if you put this on, you're going to notice that this screw hole, the countersink, is above the hole. So, spatial awareness like that is very important when you're doing brake replacement. Did they give us... They didn't give us a screw. So, it's a good thing I kept the other screw. Did they give it... Wait, hold on. Let me check the bag. I don't think they gave it to us. That's actually kind of sad. Did I say something about spatial awareness? I just realized I put the wrong hole in. Okay, now we can put some. Alright. So, if your rotor screw ended up being stripped and you need to get a new one, you can buy them pretty cheaply. I think from Lowe's they're like $4 for $5. Don't quote me on that, but they can be replaced for very cheap. I still can't believe they didn't give us a replacement screw though. If they were cheap, just should have just given it to us. I'll check the packaging just to make sure, but as you can see, we got the rotor back on and it's staying on there pretty tightly. After this, we're going to put the caliper back on, then we're going to put the bolts, and then we're going to put the brake pads on, which we'll do in the other video. Alright, so what I meant was that I'll be replacing the brake pads in the other video. Right now, we're going to put the caliper bracket back on, and we need to torque the bolts. So first off, we want to take our bolts. These are the thick ones. And then you want to put them back on. They're going to fit in right here. You got see it? Okay. We're going to put them in. First, we're going to slide them in by hand. Then we're going to put the top one in. Okay, let me slide these in as much as I can and then, let me slide these in as much as I can and then use a ratchet wrench. And as you can see, it's snowing now. In the span of one video, we've gone from snowing to sunny to snowing to sunny. Okay, I believe the torque for the front brakes, the bracket specifically, the front brake bracket, caliper bracket, is 101 foot-pounds. This is important because the back brakes actually have a different foot-pound, which I'll tell you in that video specifically because I don't want to confuse you. But make sure that you torque these 2 bolts to 101 foot-pounds. And 101 foot-pounds is why we had to use the breaker bar in order to take it out. So over here, I have the torque wrench that we're going to be using. I have done a video on this. It is a digital torque wrench, and we're going to need to increase that to 101 foot-pounds. Okay, where's the thingy? Where's the wrench that I use? Oh. Okay, we're going to put it on. Let me just make sure that this can turn off. That's the downside of this instrument. Sometimes it just turns off by itself. Okay, let's do it now. Okay. So that's torque to 101 foot-pounds. Let me just make sure that's... Nope, that is 123 foot-pounds. What? How? How? No, I don't want 123. No, that's... It went back to 100. Okay, it went back to 101 foot-pounds. Maybe they're talking about Newton meters, but I highly doubt it. I don't know why it does that. See, that's the struggle with using this. Now it says it's how much torque I put on it, because now it says 129.8 pounds. I didn't realize I could put that much torque on something. I didn't realize I was that strong. Whew. Anyway, we have our bracket bolts torqued. The next step is to put the brake pads back on, which we'll do in the next video. But for now, I'm Aiman, and today I showed you how to remove and replace the front brake rotor or disc for a Honda CRV 2014, which applies to 2011-2016 models. And this is for my for Uncle Lon. So hopefully he appreciates all the work that we've done for him. We would have wanted to have him on the video actually, so we could show him how to do it himself. But he actually has to do delivery right now. So if you're watching this, Uncle Lon, I hope you're proud of us. Anyway, I'm Aiman. Thanks for watching. So like, comment, subscribe, and look at videos on EyeOnAiman. Especially make sure to check out the video on replacing the brake pad if you don't know how to do it, and check out the videos on removing and replacing the rear brake pads and rotors. And I'll see you there. But for now, signing out.